I've been wearing the Apple Watch Ultra and the Garmin fenix 7X for over a month now. As someone who lives in New York City and is training for a 5-minute mile, I'm going to take you throughout my day to see what it's like to go for a run, listen to music, use contactless pay, and more. I'll be testing their battery life, user experience, and fitness data to show you which watch is the best for you. With that said, I need to go for my morning run.
Now, why Apple Watch versus Garmin? Garmin is known as the outdoor super sport enthusiast brand. When you see someone with one of these, you know they love the outdoors. Apple Watch is more of like your luxury, best of the best brand, but they still support a lot of features of competing with Garmin. So I wanted to see, can it hold up? Can the Apple Watch beat my iPhone on my wrist and my Garmin sports watch on my wrist? So how do you start workouts on these two watches? When I want to do an outdoor run, I press the top right to start on the Garmin, select run. On the Apple Watch, I press the action button to open, and then outdoor run. I'm going to wait for both devices to get a GPS. Once the signal is locked, then I'm ready to start my run. And I love that the new Ultra has the action button with precision start. That just makes it easier when it comes to timing my runs. So here we go, let's do it.
Best thing I love about the buttons is how quickly I can just start my run. I hit go and it's tracking my workout. There's no 3, 2, 1 countdown. And when you're wearing gloves or your hands are sweaty, it's really hard to control a touchscreen. So having actual physical buttons is extremely important because you want to be able to see the menus and start, stop without even looking at your device. And then having haptic feedback to tell you, hey, I paused the workout or a new segment is really valuable. One of my goals is to run a sub 5-minute mile, and that's why I'm training and running so much. I want to break barriers. I want to inspire others that they can kind of do things they don't think is possible. Today, the workout that I'm doing is a zone 2 training, and I'm making sure that on the Apple Watch, it tells me I'm within zone 2. And then on the Garmin, it also has zones on the top. So you can manually adjust the zones, and I'm making sure that I'm within a zone 2 of lactate threshold 1, lactate threshold 2, which is kind of the recommended to help build your mitochondria and build your metabolic base. And that's been my goal recently, is get that foundation, that aerobic base, so that way I can run longer for longer periods of time. And I love having the heart rate zones, which is new on the Apple Watch in watchOS 9. And one thing to note about the heart rate accuracy is, especially when it's on your wrist and you're running, it's wobbling around. And when you have an extremely heavy watch, it wobbles around more. So I have to be really mindful that the heart rate might be inaccurate. And that's why sometimes I'll wear a heart rate chest strap right here, and that'll give me the most accurate data. Running with the camera and talking is freaking hard. So turn on the notifications so you can see all my future videos, please, because I'm doing this for you.
All right, we just finished the run. There was a weird issue when I was running where my sweat got on the watch and it randomly paused. I accidentally hit the buttons. So that was extremely frustrating. The workout time on the Apple Watch is 44 minutes, 14, whereas the Garmin is 45:51. So that's almost a minute and a half difference that I lost because of like the accidental wet touchscreen, fingers, gloves, hoodie issue that I had on my Apple Watch. Distance wise, 4.64 versus 4.38. So it's about a 0.2 mile, a little bit more than that difference. Average heart rate, 136 on the Apple Watch, 136, extremely close. I did have a polar chest strap type Apple Watch, that's like the gold standard. I just used the wrist heart rate monitor on my Garmin. My pace was a 9:53 on the Garmin, whereas the pace on my Apple Watch was a 10:06. So that's like a 15-second difference on pace-wise. Now, fitness is not the only thing. Sleep tracking is very important. Both these devices do that nowadays. The one thing that's great about Garmin is they do a sleep score. They give you all your sleep stages, and they give you a whole bunch of more information on your recovery and training readiness status. So it looks like I got a 50, which is quality poor, and I got 4 hours and 56 minutes of sleep. It tells me that I got no REM and an hour and 14 of deep sleep. So it's interesting to see that information. And if I want to see trends, I can tap my 7-day and I will be able to see how I was sleeping the past week. The Apple Watch is very similar. I have to use a different app, which is the health app, and I can see my total sleep. So it looks like 5 hours and 3 minutes. They're about 10 minutes off. And if I look at my sleep stages, I got 46 minutes of REM, an hour and 10 of deep on the Apple Watch. Which one do you trust? It'll give my respiratory rate as well as some other information. The thing the Apple Watch doesn't do is give you like a recovery readiness score, but you can download an app called Athletic, which they will take that information from your Apple Watch, crunch some numbers, and give you a score, which I got 65, which is recovering on the Athletic app. And when it comes to tracking, the trends can be helpful for you to improve your life, but I don't want you to obsess over these numbers. I've had issues where I obsess over, oh, I need 5 more minutes of deep sleep. I need a better fitness score. And when you do that, you get a little anxiety and it can actually ruin your life. Take the data, use it for a benefit, but don't obsess over it. Don't get over analytical. Let's head to the coffee shop.
Got buzzed about my calendar notification on both of these devices. So they both have really cool calendar integration. I'm able to view what's on my calendar on the Garmin as well as the Apple Watch.
The Apple Watch obviously has more features where I can delete events, create events, but the Garmin still notifies me and pings me, so I know where I need to go, when I need to go. And speaking of directions, the Apple Watch will give me transit directions as well as the time when the train arrives. The Garmin does not. It has like a maps and navigation feature. I haven't fully figured out how to use it. It's really, really complicated, but it does have like a, I can see where I am, and for hikes, see a topography map, whereas the Apple Watch requires you to download a separate app for that. So luckily, we're using transit. I'm gonna use my Apple Watch to get directions, and we need to pay for our subway. And that's where Garmin and Apple Pay come in. With the Apple Watch, I can go ahead and just tap. I don't need to do anything. I just tap my watch, and I go. And it's that easy. So now to do Garmin Pay, what I will need to do is press and hold the side button here. Nope, I always mess it up. Top left button here, find wallet, enter in my passcode, 1234. That's how long it took to type in the passcode, and now I can hold this near the reader. Oh no, tap again it says. Maybe Garmin Pay doesn't work on the subway. Not sure why that is, it's kind of frustrating. So you can't really use this to navigate, but let's go see if it works at the coffee shop. Hello.
What's up?
How's it going?
So good to see you.
Do you want me to use Garmin or Apple Pay?
Let's do Apple Pay.
Apple Pay, double tap. Oh. We're gonna use Garmin Pay, let's see if this works. Do you guys say Garmin Pay? All right, let's see what happens.
Find out.
Oh, all right. Thank you. I'm just like, I don't want to explain my real name, so Steven it is.
That works, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
Do you not get any milk with yours?
I like it all black, just like my soul.
Really?
1, 2, 3. Wow.
All right, should we cheers it on camera?
Let's do it. All right. Cheers. So I'm
really
obsessed with cold brew. I love coffee. Whenever you find someone else who loves coffee, you become best
It's
friends.
like an instant friendship. Yeah.
So we are here at La Cabra with Jacqueline, Nothing But Tech. Go check out her channel. Jacqueline is a tech expert.
Ooh. That's giving me a lot of credit. I'm a tech YouTuber.
And do you have a watch?
Yeah, I have the regular Apple Watch.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this? Is your first time seeing the Apple Watch Ultra?
Yes, first time. Wow, it's really nice actually.
She's gonna upgrade.
Probably will because of you. Actually.
And it shows you the workout for the day.
A 4-mile run,
Yeah.
10-minute pace. All right, Shervin's the best. Yeah, you're like the guy that should be testing all these products. Like everyone subscribed to this channel. Like actually, you're like the only person I would trust for like the take on health stuff.
You heard that here first.
Yes. Stop it.
To your watch.
What is this? Oh my God. I feel like I would look like an absolute maniac. Like actually. Wow, that's wild. If I was running a lot, like yes, but I wouldn't wear it like to go to a social event.
But you do run a lot now, right?
I have a stress fracture right now, so I haven't run in like weeks, but normally, yes. Do you feel like people wear it to say that they're wearing a Garmin watch? Like it puts you in a different like class of runners?
Well, what would you say that about Apple Watches? Do you think people judge you because you're wearing an Apple Watch?
Yeah, I think like when you wear an Apple Watch, it's not like, oh, you're like a max runner. It's like kind of like a watch that does it all. But I think if you're wearing like a Garmin, it's like, oh, you're doing it for fitness. I'm not like athletic enough to like be wearing a Garmin. Like I would have to be like a marathon runner to feel like I deserve the product.
Well, that's what's interesting is like, would people not buy this because they feel like they're not good enough for it?
I feel the people that I know that use this are like Casey, and he runs like 15 miles a day, so like it makes sense. But yeah, for me, if I'm running like 2 or 3 miles a day, like I just feel like it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, that's why I do not have a tan line like that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. Oh my God.
I just wear it way too much.
And then wait, so you're also wearing a Whoop.
Yeah, so I'm wearing a Whoop on my bicep as well, so yeah.
Which one do you think would perform like better on a hike?
That's a great question.
I feel like you have to test that.
And really, that's a great idea. Maybe we're gonna do this little hiking loop. Sue me, I'll have to chew my eyes.
That would be crazy. I think you.
Well, Jacqueline, thank you for being a guest on our show today.
I'm really honored to be on the channel, like for real. I think Shervin is one of the best YouTubers, for real.
You heard that here first?
So much effort is going into it, for real.
I love it. And now we're gonna go on a hike. We're gonna test the hiking features on these two watches. So we're gonna use the ferry and head over to New Jersey right now. The Garmin does support offline playback, but you need to download the music on Spotify to be able to play any music. Sadly, we're not connected to Wi-Fi, so I can't offload it, but I'm able to control the music on my iPhone through the Garmin. It is a hefty process. There's a lot of buttons you gotta press. You gotta press into music controls, and then you can play pause, and then there's a sub menu to change the volume, so it's really like a big hassle. I don't think I would ever use it, just how difficult it is. Whereas the Apple Watch, I know. There's a now playing app I can open up. I can scroll the digital crown up and down and change the volume, and the touch screen is for next. The only issue is if my hands are wet or I'm wearing gloves, it's going to be really hard to change the music. So that's kind of one of the downsides with the Apple Watch. We're here at a little convenience store and I'm gonna see, do they take Garmin Pay? So far we're 1 win, 1 loss. Will this work? Let's see if this works. Hold near reader, blue check, it worked. So as a New Yorker, we looked at New Jersey people. I was like, that's an absolute joke. Please don't cancel me. For Shervin? Yes. How's it going? All right, we are headed to our very first hike. One of the features of messaging and phone calls is my absolute favorite on the Apple Watch because that allows me to disconnect from my phone. And the Apple Watch has a microphone and speaker, whereas the Garmin does not. So I'm able to talk into it, talk to text, as well as type and swipe on the Apple Watch. And because it's fully integrated into the Apple ecosystem, messaging, replying, giving double tap feedback like hearts is super easy. The Garmin with the iPhone, all you can do is read your messages if your phone is nearby. So there's no cellular connection. But if you have an Android phone, it allows you to do like smart replies that you kind of preset. So there's limitations depending on the operating system that you're using. But overall, you can see messages on both devices if they're connected to your phone. The Apple Watch, I can go for a run without my phone, have cellular activated, and be able to text, call, and see all my messages. It's 1 p.m. battery update, 56% on the Garmin, 77% on the Apple Watch Ultra. Let's see when the Apple Watch Ultra beats the Garmin, in a bad way. We are here at Mill Creek Marsh in New Jersey. We're gonna do this little hiking loop. Option 1 is I can look at this map, but it's not digital, so I'm gonna use my phone and pull out all trails on my iPhone and see where the trail is. And we'll follow that as well as the digital map on the Garmin watch. Garmin start stop is always top right. You go ahead and tap that. There's my hike. I'm gonna select hike. It's gonna say, wow, found GPS extremely fast. And then I'll press start when I'm ready to go. So the Garmin has some really neat features that are like super niche. They've got a diving thing on there. The Apple Watch Ultra now has diving. If you love golfing, there's a whole bunch of golfing apps on here. On the Apple Watch, you can download a separate golfing app. If you love to go skiing, the Garmin, they've got a whole bunch of skiing features. Apple Watch, there's special apps you can download for that. I like to think of myself as an outdoors enthusiast. I like to go hiking. I used to live in Denver, Colorado, and there's really big hikes there. And when I go back home to my parents, they love to hike once a week. So typically I'll go do like an easy hike with them. And I used to grow up camping, so I do love the outdoorsy stuff. I'm not obsessed, but I like it. But what's really neat is All Trails is showing where we've walked so far, as well as how long each segment is. They're like 0.1 miles. On the Garmin, it also shows how far we've walked. It's that red line right there. So both are showing the red line. If I pull up my Apple Watch, same thing, it shows where we're going. Oh, we're at the Walmart Supercenter for some reason. It still shows that I'm at the Walmart Supercenter, which is right over there. Not sure what's going on with the syncing of the GPS on the watch. Now when it comes to safety, the Apple Watch Ultra has cellular built in. Even if you're not paying for a plan, you can actually call emergency services directly from the watch. And it also has a siren feature, so I can press and hold this button, swipe for the siren, and it'll start to make the sound. And if there are people nearby, they'll be able to hear me, and hopefully they'll help me. And if I need to call emergency services, it's just one swipe away. On the Garmin, there is like an incident reporting tracking feature, but it does require you to set it up. So I do need to go in the app, add my contacts, and it requires a whole process. And because there's no cellular, I do need to have it connected to my iPhone or Android phone to be able to send that information. One thing I do love about the Garmin is there's a live track feature. So anytime I start a run, a workout, or anything like that, it can actually feed that information directly to my iPhone, and it can message my loved ones or whoever I'd like, and they will get a text message with a link, and they can see where I'm running, how fast I'm running, my heart rate. And that's one way to make sure that I'm safe, and it's another way to just see my runs live as I'm doing it. So we did about a 0.8 mile hike for 27 minutes. We went very, very slow because we need to be recording. But now both devices will tell me how long I hiked for, 0.82 miles, my elevation, heart rate zones, and kind of what it was, and what kind of training load it was. So we have all the information now. But it's cool to see that information if you do a hike consistently, to see, hey, am I doing it faster? Is my heart rate lower? Just seeing trends over time. Let's go grab lunch before we share our conclusion. Battery update, 2:45 p.m., 71% on the Apple Watch Ultra, 54% on the Garmin fenix 7. What's happened? What did I do? The app crashed when I tried to order. So when you try to use Garmin Pay, you just break all the technology. But we're gonna use Apple Pay instead because can't add any of the cards that I want on here. We're just gonna tap, Easy peasy. So I just tried to add my business card to Garmin Pay and it wouldn't let me add American Express. And then there's some Visa cards that are selected banks that are not supported. So it's really a hassle, but Garmin Pay is just a massive, massive challenge. There's so many buttons you need to press, authentication. It just takes way too much time. If you have a smartphone with you, you can use that. And in those specific scenarios where you don't have your watch, you can use Garmin Pay, but it's not something I would use on a daily basis.
Battery update. It is the Apple Watch Ultra is at 66% and the Garmin is at 52%. Did it lose any battery at all? In terms of battery life, they're both really good. The Apple Watch Ultra, I do need to charge it every like 1 to 2 days. It can last about a day and a half, whereas the Garmin fenix 7X lasts for 25 days, a little bit less if you're tracking GPS. But when I was traveling in Europe for a week, it was really nice to take this watch with me and never have to charge it. I was still able to track all my runs, my workouts, and my sleep. And I didn't bring the charging cable with me. Whereas the Apple Watch Ultra, I had to bring the charging cable with me and I would charge it anytime it was kind of running low on battery, whether that was before bed or in the morning after I woke up. Now, when it comes to charging, the Garmin just lasts forever, so I rarely need to charge it, but the charging experience involves taking it off and plugging it in on the bottom and just leaving it there. Whereas the Apple Watch, they gotta be fancy. So you take off the watch, same thing, and you get your little magnetic thing and you slide it on and oh, it's just so satisfying sometimes. I could do that all day. They both provide overall great health metrics. It's just about how they display that information. I do like how the Garmin app does a lot of things. It puts everything in one app. It makes it a little bit easy. And the Apple Watch, you sometimes have to download third-party apps just to see your trends or kind of your recovery scores. So it just involves downloading apps on top of apps. When it comes to their special features, both these watches have a lot of things that I rarely use, like the scuba diving feature on the Apple Watch and the golfing and skiing features on the Garmin. These are for very niche subset of people. And if you're someone who needs that, then that's the watch you go for. But as someone who just needs a watch for everyday use, for tracking my runs, bikes, and swims, both watches do an extremely good job. Now, which one would I buy? For me, I personally love the Apple ecosystem, and I really enjoy having a computer or an iPhone on my wrist. I want to be able to reply to messages, do phone calls, so that's a big value add for me. Whereas the Garmin, I absolutely love if I'm only going to use it for training. I could see myself putting this on when I go for a run, but then taking it off the rest of the day and maybe using it when I sleep. Whereas the Apple Watch, this thing never comes off my wrist. I take it off to charge and then I put it right back on. It's literally an extension of myself and my body. So if you're an Android user, Garmin is the way to go because you have no other option. If you're an iPhone user and a fitness enthusiast, Apple Watch is the best. If you need those critical numbers, you need those special niche use cases, and you want a 25-day battery life, then the Garmin fenix 7X is the way to go. For me, I do enjoy wearing both watches at the same time, but does it really make sense for most people to do that? Probably not. As you can tell, I wear way too many trackers. They're just all over my arm, and it's part of my job to review these things. So I also do it because I just enjoy it and I'm obsessed. Thank you, PlayBetter, for giving me a discount on the Garmin fenix 7X so I can make this video. Go check out the affiliate links through them below and use my Amazon affiliate links for the Apple Watch Ultra. Go watch my video where I compare the Google Pixel Watch versus the Apple Watch right here.